Hello, and welcome to the online module, The Under-Recognized Value of Peer Mentoring in Your Career Plan. This is Dr. Lou Martinez, and I am the Assistant Professor in Medicine at both College of Medicine Phoenix and Tucson campuses, and the Assistant Dean for Faculty Affairs and Development. To begin, I have nothing to disclose at this time. There's been no funding for this online module or a conflict of interest, and I will be discussing a few results from research studies that I'm currently engaging in. Therefore, participant and program anonymity will be honored. Today's online module is intended for audiences who are primarily junior physician faculty with teaching or research focuses, those who are medical education directors at all ranks, meaning the rank of assistant, associate, or full. And this topic is regarding mentoring and career development for program directors and managers also at all ranks. Today's objectives will be to bridge theory to best practices in your career progression strategy. The second objective is for you to understand the two sociological theories and their importance in peer mentoring and upward mobility of your career. The third objective is to learn practical tips for engaging and facilitating in peer mentoring for yourself. And finally, I'll be asking you to make a commitment to peer networking at the end of this module. To begin, as I provide the best practice tips for you, I wanted to let you know that much of these tips are part of an ongoing research effort that examines two different programs that has been looking at both basic medical science faculty and physician faculty who are in research-intensive universities and who are intertwining their careers and research focus across many departments. The first program I will be drawing tips from is one that is based out of the health sciences that covers the 5 colleges at the University of Arizona. And the program is looking at national networking results and how that further shapes and affects and influences junior faculty research productivity, and also how it furthers their technical research skills. The next research program that I'm drawing our tips from is from a program at the College of Medicine where there are peer mentoring groups with one senior mentor at the heart of the group that helps connect the physician faculty across departments and across disciplines so that they can engage in different types of career advising for each other. To begin, let's take an inventory of what your current knowledge is regarding social cognitive theories and peer mentoring. So first, take a read at this pre-test question number 1 and answer the question. Pre-test question number 2. Take a read and please answer the question. We'll be coming back to these 2 questions at the post-test. So to begin, let's explore the sociology of academic medicine. I'll be reviewing relevant theories called self-efficacy theory and social capital theory. Self-efficacy theory was coined by Albert Bandura in the 70s. This theory is essentially one's internal belief and self-confidence that they are able to achieve a specific goal in their career or in their educational attainment. The prominent role in this approach is goal set and exerting resilience in order to achieve the goal and having intensive reflection on one's own self-confidence and understanding that there's an internal locus of control, that you are in control of your achievements and that you are in control of your fate and how that path is going to unfold for you, such that you can obtain and achieve the goals you're striving for. Sources that Bandura felt that informed this internal locus of control was one's reflection on their past performance, observation of their own performance, and coaching that they've received along the way, usually by others, mentors, parents, teachers, and to some extent, internal coaching that they talk themselves into. Next theory, social capital theory, was coined by Coleman in the late 80s. There are several social capital theories. However, we're going to explore the sociological perspective and economic perspective as it relates to peer mentoring and your career progression. To begin, sociological perspectives really look at the regulations and norms and the restrictions within one's environment. This is a resource that is based on trust and shared values among a community. This form of capital, Coleman felt, should never deplete but should continue to accrue. In terms of an economic perspective, this is also known as a form of human capital. Development is dependent on the relationships and the trust and altruistic support of those within your professional network. The quality of discourse and interplay with all of these actors, in theory, informs your self-confidence and reinforces that self-efficacy or that ability and confidence to achieve your goals. The role of this type of human capital is to really facilitate action. That self-confidence is the impetus to action. So what does this all mean, these theories, in connection to some of the findings that we've been discovering in the 2 research programs that I discussed earlier in this module? So the dominant findings among the junior physician and basic science faculty regarding peer mentoring is that there was initially an absence in the self-perception of junior faculty being able to be effective mentors to each other in the peer aspect. How did this surface? Well, the way we do the data collection for these research programs is very intentional, and we set up focus groups. When we had the focus groups, we had about 5 to 6 junior faculty around who were going through the programs together at the same rate, and asked them questions about their feelings regarding the achievement of their goals or improvement of their technical research skills or their teaching skills. And when we had them in a forum without a senior professor or a mentor that reflected a traditional hierarchical dyad in terms of a partnership, the junior faculty became much more relaxed and open in terms of talking about their perceived inadequacies or feelings of a lack of confidence. The focus groups allowed for a surfacing of the junior faculty's unrecognized expertise. We were able to watch how they realized that they did not have or had feelings that they didn't bring something to the table. And the more that they talked to each other, they started to reinforce, no, you do have something to bring to the table. For example, when I was going through this situation, you talked to me about a previous experience that you had that was similar. And that helped me understand my own situation. So they were shedding light on each other regarding their own expertise and validating that they did in fact have something to bring to the table, even though they were not senior professors, full professors. So these focus groups actually brought about a feeling of debriefing and comfort These post meetings gave confidence and motivation with those at the same level who were experiencing very similar challenges in their career. Additionally, these focus groups and these programs brought junior faculty together that were from different clinical departments. Initially, in the discussions, there was an anticipation that having to interact in peer mentoring with people that were outside of your specialty would not bring any sort of value. However, the findings were opposite at the end of these programs. Many of these junior faculty believed that being able to network and debrief with their peers outside of the clinical department actually brought a refreshing perspective to how they think about their challenges and their situations, and received honest feedback without any type of agenda or fear of repercussions. The elements of social capital theory give rise to self-efficacy theory. From this photo, you can see that connecting or creating a safe forum with those that are your peers in the same rank is essentially the first element that you can see from our research study, as well as the next element, expansion of their networks outside of their departments, outside of their service lines and disciplines, and finally, high quality discourse, that back and forth that the peer junior faculty were having, validating each other's experiences and the value that each brought at the table. Those three elements actually serve to be an ingredient that has led to increased self-efficacy and recognition of their own mentoring capabilities. Could this possibly be a mechanism to combat imposter syndrome? Perhaps. Based on the evidence that I presented a few slides before from our research programs, here are a few practical tips for your own engagement in peer mentoring. The first is take stock of your small and your large accomplishments to find your inner value, what you bring to the table, and self-confidence. These experiences do make you a contributor and an expert to some extent. Embody the confidence in your posturing when you listen and speak with peer mentors. That confidence that you have will help further validate your own feelings, as well as show some type of interest and active listening to those that you are peer mentoring. Next, use promotion as an incentive towards mentoring your peers. Although you may not get RVUs for those of you who are physician faculty, the role is still very critical in the social construction of your own academic identity and how far you're in fact going to launch on your career trajectory at an academic medical center. Another incentive is to add the peer faculty names and the topics to your CV and add them to your vision statements as well. These peer mentoring partnerships, relationships, and dynamics are counted on your CV for promotion as part of service. So they're important to include. Third, when you're engaging in peer networking, this is a way to expand your own social capital. So you must do it actively and engage in external networking. So that means being proactive in seeking out peers that would like help, be vocal and outreach at the following opportunities. This could be department meetings, specialty meetings, college-wide or hospital-wide events, or formalized mentoring programs that are outside of your own department or division, as well as seeking out colleagues at national or regional association conferences. This piece of connecting and networking at national and regional association conferences could also be added to your CV and will help further a regional reputation or a national reputation that is needed for promotion as well. Fourth, think critically in making connections and identifying common themes when you are speaking with your peer mentors and observing them. It's going to take a little bit of work to try to find the connection with someone outside of your discipline or outside of your division, but it is achievable, and it's the very first step to making a peer advising session productive. Fifth, have a value system that you stick to and actually embody. Embrace empathy. This is not just for your patients, but also for your peers who might be going through very challenging times. Also, value the confidentiality. You would appreciate it if those who mentor you at your own level are not sharing private information or apprehensions that might make you look in a less than positive light with your department chair or other colleagues who might have a say so in your promotion or your career trajectory. So keep the confidentiality going both ways and honor that. This is an excellent way of fostering trust between your peers. And finally, respect the network that you end up creating with your peers, as all of them have the potential to impact your promotion. If you are listing them on your CV, or they may end up actually as an external recommender, and they will certainly have a role in speaking about what type of academic you are and your own professionalism and your own abilities to be a scholar who is supportive of everyone that they interact with. And always have your business card on your person. You never know when you're going to have a very critical opportunity to network with somebody outside of the walls of the college. So you want to be prepared and ready. Here is a short tip for engaging in speed networking and a mentoring exercise. I'll share here on the next slide a set of questions. You can ask the same question to 3 people if you're able to get in this situation, perhaps at a national or regional conference or in one of your division or department meetings. And if there's at least 15 minutes or 5 minutes even of downtime, you can ask 3 people or ask a different set of questions to 3 people. I'll give you a moment to review an example of questions that you can use for speed dating. So almost drawing to a close here, I'm going to ask you to engage in a writing exercise, and you can send the email shortly after. But I'm going to ask you to make a 6 and a 12-month commitment. And this commitment should be centered around getting to know at least 3 of your peers. It could be inside or outside of your division in the form of peer mentoring. You can set up perhaps quarterly phone calls if these people are outside of the school, outside of the state, or monthly coffee sessions if they happen to still be within your department. But there should be a commitment to mentoring and being mentored by a peer in your rank at least for 1 year, and see how that goes for you. Include your commitment as a discussion point during your annual performance review, sometimes called a career conversation, with your division chief or your department chair or whomever is your immediate supervisor or site director. Go ahead and make that commitment now and write down what you would say in the email reaching out to a peer, or how that conversation might unfold with the peer when you approach them. When you're done, email your division chief or immediate supervisor via email about this commitment and your plan to discuss. So let's go back and retake that test. Let's see how that knowledge base has increased. Please answer question number 1. The answer to number 1 was C, self-efficacy. Question number 2. And the answer to number 2, there's 2 acceptable answers, A, social capital, and D, human capital. To conclude, if you would like any additional academic reading, you can find an article written by Fleming et al., pretty recent in 2015, titled Facilitating a Peer Mentoring Program for Junior Faculty to Promote Professional Development and Peer Networking. This article can be found in the leading journal for academics called Academic Medicine.